Hello everyone. So there's a few things I want to mention before we get deep into today's topic. Number one, you do not owe anyone an explanation as to why you don't want kids. You do not owe anyone an explanation if you do want kids. And you do not owe anyone an explanation if you change your mind or if you're undecided. It's your life, your body, your choice, and your reason shouldn't matter to anyone but yourself. Number two, even though I know I don't owe anyone an explanation, nor do I need to share my opinions, I still want to share my thoughts and reasons so that this can become a less taboo topic to talk about. And just for people to know that there's no shame if you decide to not have kids. Also, I'm kind of making this because the simple and valid answer of I just don't want kids is apparently not good enough for some people in my life, and it's getting frustrating. And the final point that I want to make is that I'm not trying to convince you to live a child-free life. I'm just simply sharing my opinions and my reasons for personally choosing to be child-free. And I want to hear your opinions as well. I want to know about your thoughts about choosing to have kids or to not have kids. I want this comment section to be a safe place for you to express your thoughts and share your experiences. All I ask is that you please be respectful of one another. One choice isn't superior or more moral than the other. So please try to have the capacity to at least try to understand another person's perspective without bias or judgment. And even if you can't understand someone's decision to be a parent or not, that doesn't mean that that person's reason is invalid. If you can't tell by now, I'm actually quite nervous to be making this video because the last time I mentioned to a group of people that I didn't want kids, I got ganged up on. Yeah, it was not a good experience. They tried to convince me to change my mind. They made me feel bad about my decision, and I ended up crying, so it was not good. Parenting is an option, not an obligation. Now let's get into the video. It's the 21st century, and I have noticed that the topic of being child-free is becoming less taboo in the US. But I still get weird looks when I tell people that I don't want kids. And then I get this unwanted feedback. You'll change your mind. No, I won't. I'm 100% sure in my decision to not have kids, just like you're 100% sure in your decision to have kids. Don't you think that's kind of selfish? My choice to be child-free doesn't affect anyone but myself. This is the best decision for my happiness, my mental and physical well-being, and for my chosen lifestyle. I made a decision about life that I know is right for me, and no one is being harmed by my choice to not bring a child into this world. I found a partner who also doesn't want kids, so no one is being harmed by this, and I don't think it's selfish to not want kids. I think it's simply okay to not want them. Motherhood is the best part of life. You'll miss out. I think that everyone should decide for themselves what makes their own life the most fulfilling. For some, that is motherhood or fatherhood. For me, it's being able to do what I love every day and having freedom and peace and stability that comes with being child-free. Who will take care of you when you're old, though? I plan to live like the Golden Girls. Plus, when I was a child, my mother and I used to visit an old family friend in the nursing home, and her children never visited her, even though she was a good mom and she gave her kids everything. I think it's a mistake to assume that having children means one day they'll take care of you when you're old, because some adult children just don't. Don't you want a family? Child-free people have families. They just look different than yours. You'll have a forever partner and kids someday. I'll have a forever partner and maybe a dog someday. Either way, both are still a family. Parenthood is such a great experience in so many ways for those who choose to have kids. But not everyone wants to take that path, and we shouldn't force someone to have a life that they don't want. Personally, I've never seen someone try to convince someone who wants kids to not have kids, because having kids and being a parent is what's considered normal in our society. It's the most common path taken in life, and for some reason, our society is obsessed with motherhood and fertility and childbirth. So of course we don't question someone when they say they want kids. And growing up, I thought I wanted them too, because society told me I should want that. But as I got older and began figuring out what I wanted in my life, I realized that it wasn't my normal. Kids don't fit into the lifestyle that I've chosen that makes me the happiest. And just because someone doesn't want kids doesn't mean they hate kids. I mean, some people do, which is fine. And honestly, people who really hate kids, we're all better off if they don't work with them or have kids of their own. But I have met teachers, child psychologists, nannies, social workers who love working with children, but they just don't want any of their own. They like being child-free. I myself am an educator. I work with children and I love my students. They are the funniest, most intelligent, most interesting and sweetest kids I have ever met. But that doesn't mean that I want to have a mom, sorry, not have a mom. That doesn't mean I want to have a kid and be a mom someday. Now, every child-free person has their own reason for not wanting to have kids, or maybe no reason at all, and that's perfectly fine. But some reasons include environmental and social concerns, wanting to focus on pursuing career goals, maybe they have instability in their relationships, finances, or mental or physical health. And some just simply don't want to be tied down to the lifelong responsibilities that come with raising a child. And that's perfectly a fine and valid reason, and we shouldn't shame anyone for feeling that way. My reason for not wanting to have kids is that I just simply don't want to have any. That's literally it. I don't feel that desire to be a parent, and I like being child-free. But if you need more reasons, I save a lot of money by not having kids. Kids are expensive, especially in the US. And even if I had the money to give a child a good life, I still wouldn't want to have a child because, like I said, I just simply don't. And all that money that I save, I can use towards the things that I need or desire. I can travel freely. Yes, you can travel with kids, but you have to plan around them. You got to make sure that they're safe and that they're happy, do the things that they want so they're not grumpy throughout the vacation, and make sure that the trip isn't too long so they don't miss too much school if the vacation is being planned during a school year. I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, when I'm on vacation, and really with any other day of my life. My relationship doesn't suffer. Our intimacy is great. We love being around each other even after all this time. And our sex life is good. Once kids are in the picture, sometimes the relationship can begin to suffer. And sometimes the relationship gets sacrificed for the well-being of the kids. So couples definitely have to try harder to keep their relationship strong. I get to focus on my career. I don't lose any sleep. I can use my free time to pursue my passions and hobbies and to volunteer for the causes that I care about. And plus, I'm a lot less stressed. I only have to worry about my students for the few hours that there are in school. Their parents are worrying about their child and their safety all the time. And as someone who suffers from PTSD and depression, I don't think I can handle any more stress in my life. I also do not have to endure years of, I hate you, you're ruining my life, and then having my kid slam the door in my face. I was a pain in the ass for my mom when I was a preteen and teenager. And yet to this day, she still loves me unconditionally. So thank you, Mom. From the perspective of being the child, I saw my mom having to sacrifice her career goals, her time, her energy, her money, and even some of her happiness just to give me a good life. And I'm sure there's a part of her that wishes she would have lived more for herself. But she does tell me that she doesn't regret having me, so I appreciate that. And our relationship has gotten so much better since I was a teenager. She knows that I'm not having kids, and she knows that I don't owe her grandkids as a thank you for giving birth to me. If your family acts as if you owe them kids or grandkids, That's not okay. Don't do it for that reason. She respects my life choice to not have kids, just like I respect her life choice to have me. Okay, so to wrap things up, to parents who enjoy being parents, I respect your decision to have kids because you truly love them and want them, and they really make you happy, even with all the responsibilities and hardships that come with raising a child. So thank you for doing your best to provide a good life for your child, because every kid deserves that. To child-free people, I respect your decision to not have kids. Some people have kids without really thinking about it, but you took the time to really think things through, because being a parent is a huge life decision to make. And because you took the time to really figure things out, you now know that having kids isn't something that you want or fits with your lifestyle. And that's okay. Plus, I think it's actually the responsible thing to do to not have kids if you truly have no desire for them for whatever reason. To parents who have kids and regret it, I can only imagine how hard that is to come to that realization. I know that this is another taboo topic, but these people do exist, and there's actually a thread on Reddit about this subject. These are mostly parents who are trying their best, and even if they love their kid, they can't help but feel resentment about having them. Maybe they did it out of pressure, out of force, out of believing they had what it took to be a parent, but then realized that they don't. We don't know their full stories, and they don't owe us an explanation, and honestly, we shouldn't be judging or shaming them, because this is already heartbreaking enough for the parent and the child who are just trying to navigate through this. So I think the best that we can do is just try to understand their perspective. And to those of you who are undecided, please, please, please do not have kids unless you are 100% sure that you want them. Because being a parent, that is a lifelong commitment. So please, for your sake and for the potential child's sake, don't do it unless you're 100% sure. A child does not ask to be brought into this world. That is a decision made by you. So I hope that if you do choose to have a kid, it's because you really, truly want them. Not to fill an emotional void, not because you think it will fix your marriage, not because you're doing it out of pressure, not so that you have someone to take care of you when you're old. Have them because you truly love kids and you want to raise a child and give them a good life. Because unfortunately, there are parents out there who have kids without having the intention to really raise them well and truly love them. And unfortunately, I have seen this neglect in my students, and it's heartbreaking to see that their parents don't really care about them. Every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. So there you have it. Those are my opinions, and now I want to hear your opinions down in the comment section below. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving this a thumbs up and sharing it with other people who might be interested in today's topic. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate it, and as always, I appreciate you.